mission of the Bail Project. What I don't support is putting violent offenders back out on the street. And one of the components of House Bill 1300 would be to prevent the Bail Project from bailing out individuals with a violent crime or history of violent crimes.
Nikki Sterling's son was killed in October of last year in Indianapolis. The man charged in the case was out on bond at the time. A charity called the Bail Project had posted his cash bond. Sterling helped fight for a new law to prevent the Bail Project from posting bond for anyone accused of a violent crime.
But Brian, the Bail Project and the ACLU are suing the state now, saying that the law is unconstitutional, and they believe it singles out the charity. You'll hear from them in just a moment. But first, more of my conversation with Nikki Sterling. First, tell me about your son.
Dylan was such a kind, loving, caring individual. He was selfless. He loved helping others. And he just truly had a personality that could light up a room the moment that he walked into it.
You've been dealing with this tragedy in your own way, and part of that has been advocating for this law. You point to the Bail Project, entered the picture, you said, and paid to have the person that is accused in your son's death released. Tell me about why you decided to fight so hard for this law, and why do you think it's necessary?
It became a personal mission for me once we learned a little bit more about the Bail Project and their operations, accountability, oversight. And for me as a mother, the mission became carrying on my son's legacy and helping others. And so my end goal was to ensure that no other family has to fall victim to a charitable bail organization like the Bail Project, and receive the call that I did on October 1st.
I know that you're aware of the lawsuit now filed by the ACLU in regards to this law, and they argue that it targets one of the only lifelines poor Hoosiers have when their liberty and due process rights are at stake. How do you respond to that?
Well, you know, I've always said that while I support the mission of the Bail Project, what I don't support is putting violent offenders back out on the street. And one of the components of House Bill 1300 would be to prevent the Bail Project from bailing out individuals with a violent crime or history of violent crimes.
Let me give you an opportunity before we go just to say anything else that you'd like to get across that I haven't asked about.
Yeah, you know, when I heard about the lawsuit, you know, while I continue to have faith that the state will not reverse House Bill 1300. I truly think that it would be to the detriment of the state of Indiana.
All right, so you've got her perspective now. Now let's go to the lawsuit. The ACLU and the Bail Project want a judge to step in now and issue a preliminary injunction while the suit goes through the court process.
Yeah, that's right. Basically, they want the judge to prevent that law from going into effect. It's scheduled to right now on July 1st, so that's coming up. Yeah. They believe the law targets them, as we've said. Let's continue our coverage now with more from their point of view. I'm joined now by Twyla Carter with the Bail Project. And first of all, I want to explain to our viewers what the goal of the Bail Project is.
I appreciate that question. The goal of the Bail Project, we are a national nonprofit that works to address the humanitarian crisis that we see in Indiana as well as around the country with regards to mass incarceration and folks who are in jail because they cannot afford to buy their freedom before a trial. Anyone who's accused of a crime is presumed innocent under the law. And what we have, unfortunately, is a system that requires, in many cases, the payment of cash bail in order to leave the jail. And so what the Bail Project does is once a judge makes the determination that someone can leave the jail and imposes a particular dollar amount, we post the entire full cash bail amount for folks who cannot afford to pay it. And so we want to be able to even the playing field, if you will, for folks who are indigent. And in addition to addressing the humanitarian crisis, we also work on policies to end the use of cash bail.
All right, Twyla, thank you. I want to bring in Ken Falk. He's with the ACLU of Indiana. The ACLU is suing right now because you're trying to block a new state law. Ken, can you tell me about that lawsuit?
That's correct. The new law you're talking about is the one that regulates charitable bail organizations, although there is only one charitable bail organization in Indiana, that's the Bail Project. And it severely restricts what the Bail Project can do in terms of who they can pay bail for and requires them to get a license. The onerous conditions imposed on the Bail Project are not imposed on commercial bail bonds persons or on friends or relatives or church groups that want to pay bail, only on the Bail Project. That seems to be a clear equal protection problem, being treated differently than everyone else. Moreover, the purpose of the Bail Project is to advocate through its payment of cash bail for the end of bail itself. And that advocacy is protected by the First Amendment in the same way that our advocacy when we make donations or contributions to political campaigns is protected by the First Amendment.
Ken, thanks. Twyla, I want to bring you back in here. I spoke with Nikki Sterling. Her son, Dylan McGinnis, was killed. The suspect in that case, police say, the person accused, he got his bond, his cash bond posted by the Bail Project. Can you understand why she's upset with the Bail Project?
Absolutely, certainly. You know, our hearts go out to Ms. Sterling and anyone else who's experienced a horrific loss that she has. We always, review our procedures and look at our practices, of course, to see if there's any way that we can improve. And I truly hope, on behalf of the Bail Project, that Ms. Sterling understands and recognizes that her case is really the rare occurrence. Again, we bailed out nearly 1,000 poor Hoosiers in the state of Indiana, and the vast majority of clients go on to go to work, go to school, return to their families, and they're not on the news. And again, I just want to remind everyone, including Ms. Sterling, that we're not the ones who made the decision that the person who took her beloved son's life could get out of jail before a trial. A judge made that decision. And once the judge makes that decision, it doesn't matter who goes and posts the money. In this particular case, the Bail Project paid the cash bail amount, but the individual involved also had a surety bond, and that was posted by the bail bond agent. And so to bring it back to Ken's point with this lawsuit, this law only targets us. It doesn't include the bail bondsman. It doesn't include relatives and people, friends who want to pool their money together. And that's what makes this an unfair bill. It entrenches a double standard that we see. And that is what we want Ms. Sterling and others to just recognize with regards to how we feel about this particular law.
Okay, so I'm curious, Tom, once the Bail Project posts someone's bail, what happens next? How does that work?
I was curious about that too. Are they done then? But they say no. According to their website, they provide court reminders, transportation, and they also provide referrals to social services. Right now, they have locations in Indianapolis and Gary, not in Fort Wayne, and then elsewhere across the country as well.
Okay, it's tough issue.
It's a very tough issue.
Such deep perspective here all over the place, Tom. Thank you for that. And if you're